I love the opportunity to build a business in a marketplace that we can create sustainability and wealth by helping others.
When you set out as a leadership team or a guy with a dream to really change people's lives or to change an industry, it's a monumentous goal and pressure and what have you. And so when I think about changing lives, it's so humbling because that pressure is so great. When you hear stories or read the Google reviews or talk to people that work here that have experienced, it could be small things, but they've experienced things in their lives that have changed who they are. It has changed the trajectory of their life. It has changed how they're able to support their family. It has changed what they're doing in communities and neighborhoods. And you start to think about how, as we get bigger, that stuff expands out. It's overwhelming. It brings the hair on the back of your neck up when you think that you've been a small part of changing lives. I think that's Mount Everest of a calling to go to work, is if you can feel, and you know it, we have proof now that these things are happening. Wow.
I got started when I was first out of college. I went to Penn State, graduated in 2014, started looking at places. Rents were so high, and I really wanted to try and find something to buy. Figured I could save on rent. I was able to find a property for dirt cheap. However, it needed a heck of a lot of work.
His dad had come up with an opportunity of a house that was off market, that was missing part of the roof, that really at that time it was Joe purchasing a house. We were only dating. We known each other for a long time. We were only dating short time at that point, but I was still moving in with him. Yeah, I walked through with his family. He bought the house. It had no roof. I didn't really know what I was in for. His family is more handy and stuff like that. So I was along for the ride for the first one.
So my dad's a contractor, so I had some handy experience. I wasn't doing anything like installing a new heater or the plumbing, but I was doing tile, laying floors, painting, framing walls, and stuff like that.
But Joe and his parents, we went through. We did a lot of sweat equity there. Trying to keep up with them, it was tough because the Zaduskis go hard. So it was a tough start, but we got through it and we kept going from there.
So it was at that point where we really got interested in real estate and real estate investing. My now wife, at the time, she wasn't a realtor yet, but we both had interest in becoming realtors and getting into real estate.
As far as American Heritage, I think without them, there's a few properties that we have, especially at least the last 2 or 3, that we probably wouldn't have right now if we weren't able to utilize the program. We scaled quicker. We had more property. I think this past year was the most properties we ever bought in 1 year. There was a point where just me and Joe were buying 2 houses at one time. We're buying 2 houses at one time. Every other mortgage before that was in our personal names. It was like, okay, we need a letter saying that you can use Jess's money in this account. And this process, it's like, we made it. We buy 2 houses at once. Like, what else? It's a dream, right?
So actually, I was here doing design work, staging work, and working with investors here locally. I love the design aspect of it and getting it ready to hit the market. My husband, on the other side, has always done commercial finance. And we were looking for things that we can do. And he kind of took his background, I took my background. We merged it and started looking and thought, you know what? Real estate investing is actually a great place for us to start. And it was just a great way, especially where we live in Southwest Florida. There's so many incredible opportunities.
And into real estate investing, it was in 2022 that we decided to buy into the HomeVestors franchise system, which has been a phenomenal system and a phenomenal program. And the part of the reason for deciding that was we were looking for something that we could do as a business. I'd been in commercial finance, been with corporate America for a while, and we decided to buy into the franchise in 2022 because it was a way that you can start something and do something without having to try to figure it all out on your own. You had the support system, You have the people that are behind you. There's a marketing system so you can get leads, all that kind of stuff. So that's what made us decide really ultimately to do that, because it was a lot easier going into that.
American Heritage has been amazing. So we've had properties where all of a sudden, you know, we need a little extra time. And some lenders would be like, sorry, too bad, so sad. But American Heritage has come through for us on a couple of different properties, which has been amazing.
American Heritage is by far the best lender that I've run into in the investment world to this point. You do have to have multiple relationships, but quite honestly, I use them the majority of the time. And it's because they're very easy to work with. The qualifications for a loan are the same every time you go into a project. So I know when I'm looking at a project or when I'm looking at buying a house, I know where I need to fall in order to make that work. But I'll tell you, American Heritage is consistent. They have been very consistent, and they have been very easy to work with on a lot of fronts. And I'll say Greg has been one of the greatest resources with American Heritage. He's very personable, on time, does what he says he's going to do, and that means the company does what they say they're going to do.
After being in this business 21 years, I would say the last 6 years I've just been on the non-QM side, and I've dealt with a lot of different non-QM lenders, and they all have different systems. They all have different account reps. American Heritage has honestly stood out to me. They stand out not only based on their customer service, but you can call the rep. He always is super responsive, but he knows when to say no to something, and he knows even better a way to structure it better than what I thought of in my mind. He's got ideas that, even though I've been doing this a long time, that just didn't click, or that he knows the way to do something that makes me think of something a different way and helps me get more people into homes, which is really what we're trying to do here.
One of the best reasons for working with American Heritage is just the service that we get with our clients, the service that's provided to our loan officers, the ability for American Heritage really to kind of lean in and make exceptions for our customers. A lot of our other non-QM lenders, they're kind of in that box. And with American Heritage, we have the ability to work with our account executive and really help our customers and make exceptions to get customers in homes.
I think we all focus on how to pay our bills and how to build wealth, but at the core of who we are, there has to be a greater purpose. And I find that I create the most value in my life when I connect with my clients and I see the pain or the struggle that they have and the challenges that they're facing, and where myself and my company can intervene and help and assist and help them along the way to achieve what they're working on.
Jeff Bezos was quoted saying that a company begins to die when it focuses entirely on its own self-interest. And every endeavor is like this. A family, a sports team, whatever it is, begins to die when you focus entirely on your own self-interest. So it has to be good for the other person, not just a little bit good. They have to be amazed. There has to be something beautiful and unexpected that turns into wow. So they're happy about what they're doing. And when we do these houses, we put a lot into it, and we specifically focus on the things that make people excited. And they walk in the door and they saw the photos already and they didn't know it was that good, or it feels better than it did when they saw it online. And this is, again, where you have to live.
Find somebody that you can lean on and get as much information from them as you can. And never quit learning, because there's always something to learn. It's always changing.
When I go home at night, I don't think about the profit and loss, and I don't think about how many loans we're going to close. I think about the relationships that are being built in the organization, and I think about the relationships that we're creating from one business to another, because in turn that makes me feel very meaningful. And so having that chance to interact with employees and hear stories about how something happened at American Heritage that changed their life and brought a smile to their face is why I'm here every day. I think I'm a builder. I like to build companies, and the reason I like to build companies is because I like to have an opportunity to positively influence others around me.
If I could say one thing to every client who has trusted us with a very important part of your life, it's thank you. Thank you for trusting us. Thank you for believing in us. And thank you for willing to take a step in as we take a big step in to developing a long-term successful relationship.